Never give up when it seems like the pressures and the hardships are coming at you all at once from every angle, and you just feel absolutely overwhelmed by all the difficulties in your life. Listen to me, please. I'm saying it with all the gentleness I have, which is not that much. You're not the first servant of God who's been under difficulty and pressure and hardship. Did you think you were? Let me introduce you to the Apostle Paul. In 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 4 to 10, I'll skim through it. In 2 Corinthians 6:4, Paul says, we patiently endure troubles and hardships and calamities of every kind. Is that what we say in our Western Christian, make my life cushy God culture? Do we say, Lord, I'm patiently enduring the troubles and hardships and calamities of every kind that are in my life? That's the Apostle Paul. In verse 5, he says, we have been beaten, put in prison, faced angry mobs, worked to exhaustion, endured sleepless nights, and gone without food. Verse 8 says, we serve God whether people honor us or despise us, whether they slander us or praise us. This has been one of the hardest things I've had to learn, to serve God no matter what response you get from people. Because if you don't, what you do is you know what people want you to say, and you know if I just say it, they're going to like me. And we've all, as pastors, we all fall down that sin-filled pit of trying to please people. And then we realize, and I'm not being harsh, I'm not being cynical, I'm telling you for your own good. Often in my heart, and sometimes, probably not that wise, on my lips, I'll say to someone who hates me, you loved me last week, and now you hate me. And it really used to take me out. I mean, the enemy had a heyday with me on that until I learned what Paul learned in verse 8. We serve God whether people honor us or despise us, whether they slander us or praise us. It doesn't matter. This is the hardship we face. And then the second half of verse 8 says, ties in with verse 9, we are honest, but they call us impostors. We are ignored, even though we are well known. We live close to death, but we are still alive. We have been beaten, but we have not been killed. Here's the killer verse, verse 10. Our hearts ache, but we always have joy. You always have joy? Are you kidding me, Paul? You're enduring troubles, hardships, calamities of every kind. You've been beaten, put in prison, faced angry mobs, worked to exhaustion, endured sleepless nights, gone without food. People honor you, then despise you. They slander you, then praise you. They call you an imposter. You're ignored. You live close to death. You've been beaten but not killed. Your heart aches, but you always have joy. Yeah, he does. That's a secret. We'll come back to it. The point right now is don't give up because you have hardships and troubles just like a dump truck just dumping. You feel like swamped, like overwhelmed. You don't know where to turn. You don't know where to start. Don't give up. What if God is actually at work right in the middle of those hardships and difficulties? What if that's the place that God wants to do his best and most work in your life? What now? What if God is doing something in the midst of those hardships and troubles for someone else in your life? What if God is doing something in the midst of those hardships and troubles for the eternal kingdom of God? Now what? We can't say, Lord, I follow you so that you'll make my life cushy. We say, Lord, I will press on and I will press in and I will cling to you and trust you and know that you're at work for good in every circumstance. And I'll never give up because this is what you've called me to.